Protect your DNA. BioBQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
It was just last night, myself and David Knight, we were sitting here and we were talking about all the politicians who are fine with sanctions and surveillance and other things on the American public, but they don't like it on themselves. One case in point is Dianne Feinstein. And it reminded me, I saw that clip, I think it was on 60 Minutes, they were talking to Feinstein, and she was saying, yeah, I was fine with them doing all these things until the surveillance came to me, and then somebody actually flew a drone. It was a little private drone, but a drone up to her window, and it was looking at her, and she wasn't okay with that. Well, Mrs. Feinstein and anybody else who signs these documents and legislation, I'm not fine with this document I have right here. And it says, court troubled by surveillance excesses at the FBI and the NSA. In a just released court opinion, a federal court judge overseeing government surveillance programs said he was extremely concerned about a series of incidents in which the FBI and the NSA deviated from court-approved limits on their snooping activities. Perhaps more disappointing than the NSA's failure to purge this information for more than 4 years was the government's failure to convey to the court explicitly during that time that the NSA was continuing to retain this information, the judge wrote. And that's exactly right. Not only are they saying they're not getting rid of this information like they say that they are going to do, they're just pretty much lying to the court, or they're lying by omission. They're not flat out lying, but they're just trying to kick the can down the road and hoping that people will forget about it. And the judge is like, no, you guys aren't being forthcoming with this information. And that's what's very troubling, because you think about these huge data centers they have. They have one in San Antonio, I believe one in Utah, which is the largest. And when you think about all this metadata, and then you compare that to the things that they're actually supposed to stop, right? They're supposed to stop the terrorist attack. That's why we have these big data mining centers, or at least that's what they tell us. But you think about San Bernardino, you think about the other things that have happened here in this country, attacks on NSA centers that they could not predict with all this information. Why? Because they ingest so much information that they can't pinpoint down to the people who are the actual threats. It's like you got all this, it's like you have a bucket of sand, right? And you're trying to find a grain of rice. Well, you can't find the grain of rice because you have so many other things in there that are distracting you from finding the grain of rice. It's the same thing with the information. And of course, they're keeping these things data mined, cataloged in their servers. If you guys watch a show, I like watching true crime shows. You watch something like 48 Hours Mysteries or any of these other crime shows. Anytime the bad guy does something bad and then they want to go track back his information, they show you explicitly how they looked at their cell phone records, their emails, their Facebooks, all these other things to paint the profile of the person that they wanted to see. And you may say, fine, that's well and good if they're going after the bad guy, but you have to remember, before the guy committed the crime, they were still taking tabs on all the things in his life. And it's the same thing for you and I. Just be aware of that as they continue to very unconstitutionally take your information. You can't just say, I want a warrant for everybody in the United States of America and that'd be granted to you. No, that's not constitutional at all. And as we're talking about surveillance, it was the surveillance system at Whole Foods that actually saved their bacon, so to speak. There's an incident right here in the city of Austin where a pastor had a fake claim, or at least that's what Whole Foods is saying, and I do believe they are correct. Basically, a guy goes to Whole Foods, he purchases a cake, he's a gay man, and that is relevant to the conversation here. And he says that when he gets out to the car, he realizes that there's a anti-gay slur on his cake. Now, this immediately threw up a red flag for me and many other people. If you go watch the videos or the comment sections on the videos on YouTube, they note that this guy went out and bought a cake with lettering on it, and he didn't check while he was in the store to see what the lettering was. It's like if you have a son named Tim, aren't you going to check in the store to make sure that your cake doesn't say John? Things like that. He didn't buy any candles or milk or anything with it. So there's a lot of things wrong with this from the jump. And also, if you watch the video of this incident, or the transaction when he was checking out at the counter, you'll notice that the clerk scans the top of the cake. And that's very relevant because if you watch the video, when the man goes to the checkout counter at Whole Foods, the clerk scans the top of his box, the cake box, which is very relevant, as you can see right here in the footage. And this is interesting because by the man's own testimony, he had a tag on the bottom of the box, which is to say if he went through the checkout line as he is saying that he did, that means you would have to flip the cake upside down and walk out the store with it. I'm not buying that, and neither are the people at Whole Foods. And there's more to that. There's a video also of the man and his testimony. Long story short, Whole Foods is suing the man and his legal team, and I hope they win every dollar they can from the guy. I believe they're suing him for $100,000. And this is just one of many fake, falsified reports. Is there real bigotry, sexism, whatever else you want to call it out there based on race or sexual orientation or religion, any of these things? Of course there are, but these guys are defeating their own cause when they do stunts like this. And he's not the only one. We see this, another hate crime hoax. And this was a student, a black student at Keene University. Basically, she was running around putting out all this anti-black rhetoric on social media, trying to stir up the other students, and it came out that that was a hoax. And she said she did this because she wanted to have a racial social justice rally, but she didn't think people would come if they weren't scared enough to go to the rally. It's like when Kid and I went out to, I believe it was the University of Missouri. And while we were there, there was another student who was putting out something on social media, a black student, I believe it was, saying that the Klan is coming to campus. It turned out to be a total hoax. It's like these guys are defeating their own purposes when they do these stunts. But whether it's this or, you know, the gay couple that spray painted their own garage, there's no shortage of people who are willing to just make up stories. And it's not even like a blown out of proportion or, you know, this is my view, this is your view. These are completely fabricated stories to help their cause, and they're just hurting it a whole lot more. And as we're talking about people on social media can actually hurt you physically. We have this report here about people who suffer various cell phone injuries. As bizarre as that may sound to some people, you can get everything from tech neck to BlackBerry thumb to cell phone elbow. These are real elements. People have to go to doctors and get braces and all kinds of things. You got the text neck, people craning their necks. I'm sure you guys have seen many people like this, especially among the young people. They say you can also get that from wearing a backpack, cell phone pinky. All types of weird things, so just be aware of that when you use your cell phones and your electronic devices.
A lot of people ask me, what is the most important area of Infowars that runs the whole operation that is having such a big effect against the globalists? And I've said it over and over again, it is you, the listeners and the viewers, that send us the intel, the news tips, that support the broadcast, that spread the word. You are 90% of the operation or more. You don't stand beside us, you stand at the heart of Infowars. When I talk about the people at Infowars, from customer service, the shipping department, being just as important as our anchors, our researchers, our investigative journalists, and myself, it's absolutely true. Without this team that we've built over the last 20 plus years, we wouldn't be able to do any of what we've been doing. And that's what's so exciting, because we finally built up to a point where we now have the launch pad. Introducing AutoShip for InfoWarsLife.com, a new way to save time and money when you stock up on InfoWarsStore.com products. Again, ladies and gentlemen, when products are sold out, you're unable to get them, sometimes for months, but we hold back the products for people that have already signed up for AutoShip. When you choose AutoShip before checkout on your order at InfoWarsStore.com, we'll give you 10% off and give you guaranteed delivery of out-of-stock products that are on your AutoShip list. Plus, we're giving you free shipping on all orders above $50. Listeners have been requesting this for years because it's so easy to forget to reorder the products when you need them each month. Now it's finally here. AutoShip at InfoWarsStore.com and InfoWarsLife.com. It's easy. Go to InfoWarsStore.com, select your favorite product, click on the AutoShip, and choose how often you want us to send you another order. As you know, I coined the term 360 win, and with the new AutoShip feature at InfoWarsLife.com, it's a sure win. You add to that free shipping on orders of $50, it is a can't lose. Visit InfoWarsStore.com and save 10% off on your next InfoWars Life order by selecting AutoShip at checkout, and get free shipping on all orders above $50. That's InfoWarsStore.com, or call toll-free 888-253-3139.